So this segment, we're talking about like your Saturday rituals that you didn't know you were losing as you grew up.
One in
Um,
particular.
yeah. So this one, number one, Saturday morning cartoons. This is a huge, big, obvious one. Like this wasn't just watching TV. Like this was like you made an appointment. You woke up early on purpose to watch cartoons, and you would grab a bowl of cereal most of the time. Um, in a few hours, you just sit there, eat cereal, and watch amazing cartoon shows. Um, and I will say, like Monday morning, it wasn't the conversation wasn't like really geared around like, oh, like did you see that like episode of blah blah blah? It was like, did you see what happened? Like, and this was a crazy time because like at least for me, you couldn't rewind the TV. Like if you missed something, right? Like you missed it. You're not going to know what the fuck people are talking about on Monday.
Yep.
Right? Like so number one, Saturday morning cartoons.
Okay,
Do
I
you
want
have
to stop you
anything to
there because we got a good one in the chat. And it literally, the minute they put it in the chat, it started happening in my head. Somebody in the chat said, my brain started playing the X-Men theme when you said Saturday morning cartoons.
yes.
And when I read X-Men theme, I went, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
Like, yes, because I still hear that theme in my head. And you know what the one is I don't see anymore before we move on to the second piece of this? Looney Tunes. Right? My daughter has no reference for Looney Tunes. But I remember Looney Tunes, just random Looney Tunes, for a full hour every Saturday morning. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody in the chat, missed Saturday morning in cartoons, PJs eating cereal. Yeah. Like Jay said, this was appointment fucking television. Right?
Yeah.
And it was actually, from a business standpoint, very, like, it was big business. Fox Morning Kids, ABC stuff in the morning. Like, this was a big deal, you know, all that stuff. You know, the corollary weekday afternoons, watching Disney Afternoon followed by Batman, right? Like, yeah, this to me is the most important one of these, is Saturday morning cartoons. And the fact that our kids don't get that anymore, because like you said, everything's on demand. So there's not that block 8 to noon, right? Where you're just chilling. Got the Cocoa Puffs, right? No, wait, here's a key question both for chat and for you, Jay, because you mentioned this in your piece. Cereal your parents normally wouldn't let you eat any other day. So, key question. What was your go-to Saturday morning cereal?
Oh God. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch is like my number one go-to cereal. I still eat it to this day. But there was also this cereal, I can't remember what it was. God, it was like chocolate puffy Cocoa Puffs. Oh my God, Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, Cocoa Puffs is horrible for you.
It is. So
Yeah,
I loved Cocoa Pebbles, right? Because they melted into the milk so much better than Cocoa Puffs did. Because Cocoa Puffs, if you ate them too fast, they were still like that crunchy hard, not quite Captain Crunch, but that. Okay, Cocoa fucking Pebbles, baby, right?
and
with extra sugar on top. And
Fruity Pebbles.
Somebody in YouTube chat is actually mentioning Fruity Pebbles right now at the same time. Yeah. People are actually listing out their stuff in the chat of stuff they loved on those. I loved those. Now, I want you to get to the next piece of this, but I'm going to disagree with you mildly, and I'll get to why at the end. Okay. So we covered, again, Saturdays when we were kids, the 90s. We got Saturday morning cartoons. Jay, what is the next one you isolated?
The video store trip. Yes, I did go to Blockbuster. However, something a lot closer that I went to, I don't think it was a chain. I think it was locally owned, was a Top Banana. I don't know if you know that in chat, like post it. I think it was local. But I remember it was kind of this like special moment. You would go like obviously your parents would have to drive you, and then you would walk around these aisles, and you're talking about a time when you had no reviews. You would pick up a VHS and you would judge it based on the cover of the book,
And the
right? Like
blurb on the back.
the artwork. And this is how you would watch stuff like Lawnmower Man, for instance, that like if you watched a trailer today, I guarantee you most people are not going to watch that movie. Um, but yeah, you would always hope for like a new release, like to actually be in stock. You would go there. It's a huge thing. You would get there and be like, oh, it's not there. If you had siblings, you would have to negotiate which movie you would be able to watch. So I don't know. This was this, and I think this is a big deal because like you also like so much rode on this. Like just think about it. You would go travel to a store, walk around for a while, pick a VHS out, travel back, put it in, and sometimes it sucked. And you're like, shit. I just wasted half my day, right? Like, so I don't know. Alex, you said that you disagreed here.
With 1 point.
Okay.
This was not Saturday. This was Friday night. Okay.
Okay.
For us,
this
was not Saturday. This was Friday night. This and I agree with you on the like the disappointment, the thrill of the hunt, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
for us, it was Friday night, and it really kicked off the weekend, right?
Yeah.
How well you did at Blockbuster kicked off the weekend, right? And somebody brought it up in the chat, renting Excite Bike so much you actually want the store copy, renting a video game. And I, again, still to this day, remember how a Blockbuster video smells, right? And yes, I think that is something that we are sorely, sorely missing, right? But again, for me, it was a Friday night thing, okay? Somebody else in the chat brought this up. Public library to get movies. Yes, I did that a lot when we were poor when I was a kid, because the public library did rent out VHS tapes. So yeah, I rented the crap out of a lot of movies from the library. But yes, the video store trip, classic thing from our childhood that again is dead now.
Oh yeah,
it is dead. Dead. DED dead. But we're not done with this topic yet. Jay went into a lot of detail here. Jay, bring us into your next item. So we've got Saturday morning cartoons, the weekend trip to the video store. What else do you got?
I got Saturday malls wandering around with no fucking goal. So yeah, I remember like getting my friends together. We would just walk around, nothing to do. We would look at clothes that you couldn't afford. You would flip through CDs that you're not going to buy. You would look at comic books. And a big thing for me, you would people watch in the food court, right? You would sit there and you would people watch. And this wasn't something that was like monetized. It wasn't efficient at all, but it was just like this social like oxygen of like, you're going to hang out with your friends and do something for the most part, like completely free, unless you bought something. But you're just wasting time. And it was such a great thing to do. And you have a teenage daughter now.
I do.
So does she go to the mall and hang out with her friends and walk around?
So I'm going to say two things on this. No, not yet. Because she's like preteenish. So we're not there. When I go to the mall with her, I do see a lot of teenagers still hang at the mall. I don't think malls are dead. I think bad malls are dead. And I think that they have consolidated like everything else. But you're right. I don't think it's the same level as it was for us.
Yeah.
We don't have there's no video arcade, right? There's not the same social stuff. Somebody in the Twitch chat saying, going into the knife store because your friends wanted to stare at swords. Yes, there was one of those in our mall, right? Skateboarding at the mall, right?
Yep.
Somebody brought it up, browsing the anime section at Suncoast Video. Facts, that place had a badass anime section. It was one of the only places that had it. Yeah, and you could go there for free and not get kicked out and not get in trouble and just wander around. Somebody else in the chat, Sbarro Pizza
Oh yeah.
or Cinnabon, right?
Oh god.
You know,
Yeah.
because I think a Sbarro pizza slice was like $1.49 back in the 90s, right? Yeah, I again, it's there still, and I don't think it's completely dead, but no phones, meeting up with your pals at the mall. And again, here's my favorite part. And this is what I think kids are missing. And the no phones comment in the chat reminded me of this. Running into random people you knew at the mall who you didn't know were going to be there.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have phones. So you'd go with friend A and B, and then an hour into it, you'd run into friends C and D, and then you guys would walk around for a while, and maybe you came with friend A and B, but now you're going to go hang out with C and D at this store for a little while, and then you find out that A and B ran into E and F, and then you guys all mingle back together at the food court, and now you're in a big group.
Yeah.
And that's how that shit went. And I don't think they have that feeling of like random goodness that comes anymore. Would you agree with that?
100%. Like nothing, and that's kind of all of this. Like nothing is random. Like they don't have to wake up early because they can just stream the cartoons at a later point. They don't have to worry about like the picking a wrong movie to watch because they can watch trailers and they can read reviews and
it's on your phone. Yep.
Yeah. So I 100% agree with that. Like there's no randomness anymore.
Yeah. All right. How many of us still remember our best friend's house number from back in the day? I still do, actually. And I remember my home phone number from when I was like 12. Okay. You got one more segment for what we have lost from Saturdays from a long time ago. What do you got?
Yeah, so arcades, game nights, and shared screens. Primarily LAN parties and split screens.
GoldenEye.
Yes. Oh my God, GoldenEye. And gaming used to be loud, you know? Arcades, like they had a different feel to them. Like there was like a smell in the air. And I don't know, there's something about sitting on a couch next to your friend. You're looking at their screen, they're looking at your screen. You're yelling at each other, you're trash talking, you're passing controllers back and forth. People are like watching you, waiting for their turn.
Calling next.
Yeah, and it goes back to that like social atmosphere. And now I feel like it's really sad because we're connected globally and somehow we are so alone locally.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's sad.
There is something to couch versus mode, right?
Yeah.
When four of you are crowded around a 26-inch television screen, okay, screaming at each other not to yell, not to watch each other's screens, and as somebody in the chat pointed out, throwing Cheetos at the guy who picked Odd Job and GoldenEye because fuck that guy, right? Okay. Yes, and my daughter still plays video games with her friends, but you're right. It's different.
It's different.
It's not the same as sitting there with your friends, you know, again, couch, you know, 4 people on a couch playing Mario Kart, you know, back in the day. You know, the reason most of us still have the Konami code is playing 2-player variation of Contra. Yep. You know, there is something that you miss about that. I absolutely 1000% agree with everything you said there. So here's the question to end this out. I know you'll periodically see it as kind of nostalgia bait, right? But do you think we could ever rebuild that culturally? Or do you think it's just gone? Do you think there's going to come a point where people, maybe it's not Gen Z or Gen A, but maybe it's the one right after my daughters, where they get sick of it, the onlineness, the phones, and everything else, where they are just craving that social side, and those third spaces come back and exist again because they know something's missing there. Do you think that could come back?
I do. And I think it's because we do kind of see this. We see like Disney remaking our childhood movies as live action, and like the new generation gets really sucked into them. There is a thing that I learned in like a marketing class called a market burnout. You don't want to overload your consumer, or they will reach a burnout phase where they don't want to check their email and they don't want to be on social media. Like they're tired of all the ads. They want to unplug. And that's very bad from a marketing point of view, obviously, because now you can't reach them. And there is like this thing of like a cycle, like at your wife's birthday party, I wore like very large, baggy, purple pants that like I remember back when like I was in high school being like those types of pants being all the rage. And then they were like super not the rage for a long time. And now they're coming back. So we see fashion go through these cycles.
Culturally, you think we can do the same?
I think we can. I think because it's going to be so disconnected, it's going to be so new to them. They're going to be like, oh my God, like, did you know we could just like walk around the mall and just like not buy anything and just bump into people? What? Or just like split screen. I wish like split screen would come back.
Yeah. We have somebody in the chat who actually happens to know, I happen to know works for a local school district, and they're commenting. They're saying something they've seen at work, and they work for a local school district, is kids, younger kids, and so this would be Gen A and lower, doing more and more trading card games, tabletop, and board games at school. Pokemon's always been something at the K through 8 level, but now they're seeing more kids play Magic or One Piece. At the 6 to 12 level, there's kids doing after-school tabletop or board game clubs. I would love to see more tabletop RPG and Pokemon and Magic and all those clubs really flourish at the junior high and high school level. I think that would be great. Right? I think it would be phenomenal. So there you go. There's a bunch of our reminiscences about what it was like to be a kid on a Saturday 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I'm not going to say any more words because that's a long... I don't want to... Whatever. I'm old. But tell us what you think. Do you have any particular memories that you love? And do you think it could make a comeback someday? Let us know down in the comments below.